Modern mind, ancient book walked away.
Did you know that 2 Peter chapter 2, verse 9 ties you, Christian, back to a royal priesthood and a holy nation? Statements made in Exodus and Deuteronomy. Stay tuned. My name's Roger. I'll be your host. This is another Modern Mind, Ancient Book. Today, it's a special episode. We're going to be talking about the Feast of Pentecost, which is actually today. If you're listening to this in May of 2026, on the 22nd of May, then tonight is Pentecost. We're going to be celebrating it with my family here at our house. We've got some friends coming over, and I just wanted to share this with you. It's a very special thing. It's a wonderful holiday, and it's one that Jesus knew and celebrated. So without further ado, let's get started. But you are a chosen race, a royal priesthood, a holy nation, a people for God's own possession, so that you may proclaim the excellencies of Him who has called you out of darkness and into His glorious light. That's 2 Peter, and it's really good. It's really, really good. Now, how does that tie you back to Exodus and Moses and Mount Sinai? Well, this is what was told to the people that day when God showed up and delivered the law. And you shall be to me a kingdom of priests and a holy nation. These are the words that you shall speak to the sons of Israel. Well, what does that have to do with Pentecost? Pentecost is the feast called Shavuot. And in 2026, it begins on Thursday, May 21st at sundown. And it concludes on nightfall on Saturday, May 23rd. The story of Shavuot, or Pentecost, moves from Sinai to the temple to Jesus. God first wrote His covenant instruction on stone. Then He filled His house with glory. And finally, through Jesus, made people themselves into His dwelling place, writing His covenant promises on the heart. Shavuot originally appears in Scripture as the Feast of Weeks, and it occurs 50 days after Passover. We talked about Passover a little bit ago. It's a biblical holiday. Jesus practiced it. It's one of the three main holidays that you're supposed to practice every year that Jesus did. There's the Feast of Weeks, which is Pentecost, right? This is what it's called. It's called the Feast of Harvest, Pentecost, same thing in Exodus. Both the Feast of Weeks and the Feast of Harvest are in Exodus. It's the day of first fruits. And if you remember from Passover, Jesus was the first fruit rising from the dead. And now His disciples, many of them, 70 to be exact, were given the Spirit on the day of first fruits. Pentecost literally means the 50th, and it's found in Acts 2 when the people, Jesus' disciples, were all at the temple. It says the house, but ever since David said he wanted to build a house for God in 2 Samuel, that's what the Jews called it. The Judeans, everybody, they all called it the house of God. That's why they were at the house. They were at the temple. Now, Pentecost is associated with the wheat harvest, the first fruit offerings, and it's all about covenant remembrance. And that's why we're going to celebrate it. We're going to remember everything that God has done for His people, for me, for you. This is associated with Sinai and with the giving of the 10 words, the wisdom of God, the Decalogue, the Torah. The Greek word Pentecost simply means 50th because it's 50 days after Passover. It is a celebration of great things. It's about bringing in the harvest. You count the days, 50 days, and each day has an omer, which is a measurement of wheat associated with it. It's a day when the wheat is brought in, right? So it's about God giving plenty. It's about being thankful for all that God has given you. From Passover, when you were spared and given life, and then every day after that, when you had food and sustenance. And for 50 days, that's how you're supposed to think. You're supposed to count the omer. You're supposed to be thankful every single day, up until the harvest, up until the day of first fruits, when everything has been taken from the field, and now you have everything that God intended for you to have that year. Second Temple Jewish writings indicate Jerusalem became filled with pilgrims during the feast season. And that's when this was happening. You know how I know the people were at the temple? The disciples were at the temple? Because this is a pilgrimage feast that all had to go to the temple. That's where they were. Research from institutions including biblical study programs at Yale Divinity School and other university-level ancient Near Eastern studies frequently note covenant parallels between the Mosaic covenant, which was an ancient treaty form, and that rescue precedes obligation. Did you realize that? That Moses was about people being rescued, about Israel being taken out from captivity? Not because they were practicing rightly, but because God wanted to call a people to himself. And that's exactly what Jesus did. That he called a people during a time just prior to the complete collapse of the temple, just prior to Rome pouring into Israel, into Jerusalem, and totally destroying everything. People who were enslaved to Rome, he called them out to become a new nation. It was Sinai all over again. The major movement in the story of Shavuot or Pentecost is redemption from Egypt, the covenant at the mountain in Sinai, the house of God, the tabernacle, the Spirit being poured out. Well, the house of God is the tabernacle and the temple. Then the Spirit being poured out. Did you know that in Sinai, in the Sinai covenant, eventually there were 70 elders that had the Spirit poured out on them? And they all spoke with the wisdom of God, just like Acts 2. And now, Jesus fulfills the covenant promise. Because he makes a new covenant, the one that was spoken of by the prophets, that will be written on the heart. This is why Modern Minded Book preaches that we should go back to move forward. We should find a love for the law of the prophets and the writings so that we can place Jesus into the world that he knew and lived in. Did you know that Jesus knew and loved all this stuff? And this is what he taught from? You know that Jesus never taught anything from the New Testament? It didn't exist. It was being written at this time. In fact, it was written after Jesus. Jesus taught nothing from the New Testament. He made the New Testament. Did you know in the Jewish world it's called the Brit Chadashah, or the New Covenant, speaking directly to Jeremiah, who promised that covenant to Israel. If you don't see yourself as one who's come under the true King, the King of all men, that you've been made into a new people, that you are a kingdom, and that your people are God's people, then how could you see this covenant for you? I'm just curious, if this isn't the world that you know and that you adore and that you want to live, then what are you living for? God has called us to be a kingdom. And if we are a kingdom, then all of God's people are our people because he's our king. The house of God has expanded. Excuse me, my allergies are acting up. In Sinai, God meets a nation. And then there's a temple, and God fills that house. But at Pentecost, at the Shavuot that they were practicing, God fills a people and they become his temple. And Jesus is God's dwelling and moving in humanity. Shavuot begins at Sinai. You can find it in Exodus 19, verses 16 through 20. There was thunder and lightning and flashes and thick cloud upon the mountains and very loud trumpet sound. Mount Sinai was in smoke because the Lord descended in fire. Israel arrives at Sinai after redemption from Egypt. The mountain shakes with thunder, cloud, trumpet blast, smoke, and fire as God descends in visible power and holiness. In Exodus 21 through 17, that's the next part you want to read, but listen. I am the Lord your God who brought you out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of slavery. Well, he's the Lord your God that brought you out from the world and out from slavery to death and sin. God established his covenant instructions for Israel and you, beginning with his identity and his act of redemption before giving any commands. And listen, they're not laws, they're wisdom. And they can be lived today in the purified Judaism of Jesus. Is it rabbinic Judaism? No, it's greater than that. But it's certainly greater than never doing anything for God, isn't it? We have to go back to move forward. Now, Israel leaves slavery and they arrive at Sinai. 50 days after redemption comes the covenant. They suffered, but now they count how good it is that God has forgiven them, that God has given so much. Now, here's the theme. There's fire, there's wind, there's a voice, there's a presence, there's a covenant. God rescued first, and then instruction followed. And that order matters because Israel does not earn rescue by obedience. This is not a covenant of law. Israel obeyed because they were rescued. And I'm just asking you, Christian, don't you want to obey because you were rescued? Don't you want to be like Jesus and love him for what he was and did for you? By doing the things that he knew and loved, to be like him? Ancient Near Eastern cultures viewed mountains as locations where heaven and earth intersected. And Sinai looks just like the treaty language used throughout the ancient world. The king rescues the people, he establishes a relationship, and now they're obligated to be of him, for him, to him, to live as if he is king. Jewish tradition later associates Shavuot with giving of the law, with the wisdom of God being given to people. Now, David wanted to build a house for God. And this is in 2 Samuel 7, 1 through 16. David said, I dwell in a house of cedar, but the ark of God dwells within tent curtains. The Lord also declares to you that the Lord will make a house for you. That's what God said, to David. David wanted to build a house, but God said, no, David, because of what you asked, I will build a house for you. And who is that house? Who is the place of refuge? Jesus. That's who it is. David desires to build a permanent dwelling for God, and God reverses David's expectation and promises instead to establish David's house and kingdom and future line. David noticed the tension. David lived in a palace. He had a place to be, a home to call his own. But God's ark remained in a tent. David wanted to build God a house. And he said, I will build you a house. And now that house becomes layered with language. It is a physical structure, but it's also the dynasty. It's a covenant line. It's a future kingdom. And it's a messianic expectations. The Hebrew root, vayit, which means house, can simultaneously mean building, family, dynasty, household. I've been trying to explain this throughout this ministry, throughout this time with you, which I'm very grateful you're here sharing this with me. Thank you for your time. That the ancients saw, they imagined words with much deeper meaning than we do. The house of God was a building, but it was also a kingdom, and we are his family. The Vayit. It was a dynasty. It was to grow and take over the world. And that's exactly what Jesus is doing. Our family, our people, that is the house of God. And that's why Jesus said, you are the house of God. Do you see it? This is how Jesus understood the temple. And that's why he said, you are the temple. Now, Solomon builds the house. This is in 1 Kings 8, 1 through 13. And you know what happened? The cloud filled the house of the Lord. The glory of the Lord filled the house of the Lord. Solomon dedicates the temple, and God's glory visibly fills the house. So powerful and so powerfully that priests, they can't even continue ministering. They just fell down and worshiped. The temple becomes the house of the Lord, and this is repeated language. It was the house of God, the house of the name. It was the house of prayer. And in Sinai, fire descended upon the mountain. In the temple, the glory descends upon the house. Fire and smoke. Solomon later asked in 1 Kings 8 through 8:27, but will God indeed dwell on earth? Even while building the temple, Solomon understood that God could not be contained by architecture. Israel's temple was never understood as imprisoning God. Rather, it represented a place, a meeting place, a covenant place. It's Eden. It's a place where you can go and meet with God. But how do you do it? Through blood and sacrifice. Because death entered the world. Eden cannot be fully restored until the covenant comes that fully restores what was lost with a forever sacrifice that doesn't need to be made repeatedly. In Joel chapter 2, verses 28 to 29, I will pour out my spirit on mankind. Joel promises a future day when God's Spirit would move beyond isolated individuals and be poured broadly upon God's people. Throughout the Old Testament, the Spirit commonly comes upon prophets, priests, kings. But Joel announces an expansion, that the Spirit would reach sons and daughters and young and old. That's what Jesus said. Luke's Pentecost and the house, okay? So in Luke 24, 52 to 53, they were continually in the temple praising God. In Acts 2, 1 through 4, suddenly there came from heaven a noise like a violent rushing wind. It filled the whole house where they were sitting, and there appeared tongues of fire. The disciples gathered during Pentecost when wind and fire and divine presence descended and empowered them. Was this house the temple? Luke doesn't explicitly say it, but we know that the upper room in the temple existed. It was the temple precincts. It was a place of gathering during the feast of Shavuot or Pentecost. They were at the temple. Luke repeatedly places the disciples at the temple in Luke 24, 53 and Acts 2, 46, because they were always at the temple. Jesus' disciples never stopped going to the temple. They practiced Judaism because Jesus practiced Judaism. In John 2:16, stop making my Father's house a place of business. Jesus used the same language, vayit. The temple language has carried house terminology for a very long time, centuries. Acts records thousands gathering, public preaching, and 3,000 responding. Some scholars argue temple courts naturally fit the scene. Luke intentionally parallelized Sinai and temple imagery. Fire, voice, covenant. Glory fills the house. Wind fills the house. God's tangible feeling, the Spirit. And the Spirit hovered over the waters, and they became still. Luke does not explicitly state that the house was the temple, but the location is the temple. That's a fact. The larger point, although, is just divine presence, okay? You're supposed to see this as like Sinai, like the giving of the Decalogue, that God was bringing his wisdom upon the people, that they would preach the law, the word, the wisdom of God, and that people would respond. This is the better covenant found in Jeremiah 31 to 34. I will put my law within them and on their hearts, and I will write it. God promises a future covenant involving transformed hearts rather than merely external instruction, because there's no set of laws that can save you, but the wisdom of God can be spoken in you and change you from the inside. In Hebrews 8, 6 to 13, he is the mediator of a better covenant, meaning Jesus. Hebrews explains Jesus fulfills covenant expectations through a superior priesthood and covenant mediation, because he's the sacrifice that never needs to be offered again. He's the one who resumes to live forever after he was given up. His blood never needs to be shed again, because he's the perfect sacrifice. He's the one who restores us back to Eden, because he becomes our better mediator. Jesus doesn't repeat Sinai, he fulfills and transforms it. Moses had tablets of stone, external mediation. He had to mediate from outside. He had to go to God and then go to you. It was repeated sacrifices, but Jesus is the Spirit written on hearts. He's the internal interpretation. He's the internal transformation. He's the once for all sacrifice. The issue isn't Torah. The issue is God leading you from the inside to love his word and walk in his ways. And that means that you do love the wisdom of God, which is the Torah. Ephesians 2, 19 to 22. You should read that. Being built together into a dwelling of God in the Spirit. What about 1 Peter 2, 4 through 5? This is an excerpt. You also, as living stones, are being built up in a spiritual house. This is all temple language. This is all Mosaic language. 1 Corinthians 3:16. Do you not know that you are a temple of God? I mean, it doesn't get any more explicit than that. There's movement across Scripture, okay? There's the garden. Then there's the tabernacle. Then there's the temple. Then there's Jesus. And then there's a new called out people. The tabernacle resulted from a people being called out. Then Jesus calls out a whole new group of men to bring the new covenant in, and they become the new 12, the new nation. But it doesn't mean that the old is gone. It just means that it's been fulfilled and that there's a greater thing, because that brings the new creation. The door was open in a specific place in Israel where you could go to the tabernacle. But when Jesus offered the sacrifice, he offered it once for all, and the door opened back up to the world. When we're supposed to go out, you and I, we're supposed to go out practicing and loving the things that Jesus loved and practiced, and teach the world about the goodness of the words of God. The whole thing, from the beginning to the end, not just parts and pieces. God's dwelling continually moves forward in you and me into the world. Pentecost or Shavuot, it's not about God filling a building. It's about God filling people. Sinai shook a mountain. Glory filled the temple. Wind filled the house. But the Spirit fills people. The final movement of the story is not humanity climbing toward God. It is God moving toward humanity through Jesus. Tomorrow night, we're going to have our dinner. We're going to light candles. We're going to say prayers. I've been thankful every day for 50 days. I've been counting the Omer. I've been saying to God, thank you for today. Thank you for the harvest that you've given me. Thank you for my friends and my family. And I'm thankful for you. You are my Omer today. Thank you for being a part of this. Thank you for wanting to see Jesus for who he really is. I pray for you that God would write his instructions on your heart and build you into his house. That the Spirit would shape you into living stones that would reflect Jesus to the world. That he would teach us his ways and order our desires and help us walk in the way of Jesus. And I pray this in Jesus' name. Thank you for listening to this. I hope it gives you a thirst to walk in the ways and to maybe celebrate Pentecost next year. As we give thanks for the words that were given at Sinai, as we give thanks for the people that were called out, as we give thanks for Abraham, who was justified by faith and brought us the covenant, as we give thanks for David, who did so many great things but also failed because he wasn't the ultimate king. As we give thanks for the wisdom of Solomon and then watching that wisdom fall as he gave into the world and to idols, but God still knowing and meaning to bring a people from even that fall through Jesus. As we give thanks for grace, as we give thanks for mercy, as we give thanks for every single word that's found in this Bible, that is our true harvest. Because in it we can see both the goodness of God and that when we fail, he still brings a new hope. But that we can also see how bad action results in bad things and learn from that and work very hard not to do the things that cause and bring evil into the world. Because the wisdom of God is intact. And those are my people. David is my brother. And Solomon too. I'm just like them. But they were greater than I am because they got to rule a great nation. Abraham is my father because he's the father of faith. Job is a wise man who is in my kingdom because Jesus is my king. And all of those people are yours too. Identify with the kingdom of God. Identify with the people of God. Go back and love this word and find the truth in it and hide it in your heart and teach it to your neighbors and your children and talk about it as you walk on the way and put it as a sign to all the work that you do on your hands and make it on the frontals of your forehead that it's something you're always thinking about and living in. Put it on your feet so that when you walk the way, you walk it to the glory of God. Deuteronomy 6:4, the Shema. That's who you're supposed to be. Love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength, and your neighbor as yourself, and give up your life as Jesus gave up his life, and walk in his ways and be his people. That's the prayer for you. Thank you so much for taking the time to listen to this. Shavuot Pentecost is wonderful. It's not just something from Acts. It's actually the giving of the law and Torah too. So I hope that God speaks his law on you. Bye-bye.